Hey guys, Master Mom, Amanda Olson here, live on YouTube channel. So the chat is open and questions I can see those if you have any that come in or any comments. So you're welcome to do that. It's a beautiful Sunday here in Johnson City, Tennessee. And I'm looking forward to, after lunch, getting out and playing in my garden and working in the yard. I've got some new plants that I picked up yesterday to plant. Not that I need any more plants, but it's fun. It's a hobby for me, and especially on a beautiful day like today. So I was going to talk today about kind of a interesting subject to me, and that is that of leadership, especially teaching leadership to children, teaching leadership to teens. Um, I have been teaching leadership for as long as I can remember. Back when I was teaching my martial arts classes more robustly than I do now. I just teach a couple a week, but I'm teaching every day. And one of the things that I realized was very important was to have the children, whatever lessons they learned, whether it's courtesy, respect, integrity, all the things that we teach, is that they not just know what they mean, but they also are able to show that out in the real world, or the real world outside of my real martial arts world. So, but that takes confidence and that takes leadership skills, and some people are just kind of naturally charismatic and, people follow them. They're funny or they're confident or, they're not intimidated and they just, do their thing. And people follow that, they're like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of fun. Every time you talk, you make me laugh. Or, when we go hang out or something, you're pretty bold. And so we get to do extra things that I wouldn't do on my own. That type of leadership is just kind of naturally in some people. But leadership can also be taught. And I know there's some, different rules of thought or things on that, but I believe that you can become a better leader. You can teach people how to become a better leader. And in my reference of leadership, that means to me that you have confidence to do the things you want to do. You have confidence to um, choose the right things. And sometimes, there's pressure to do the wrong thing, and leadership can be confidence to choose to do the right thing. Also, leadership in that you get more opportunity to have control over your life. So if you have leadership and you are joining a club and you want to see this club go in a certain direction, whether it's raise funds for this group or do more work outside, volunteer work to help the community, if you have the leadership skills to lead your group or speak up and lead a section of your group, then you can accomplish the things in your life that you want to accomplish, whether you're 8 years old or 28 or 48 or 68, 108. It's the same skill set, and it really provides you an outlet to do the things you want to do, make the differences in the world that you want to make, and enjoy life a little bit more. It's something I've said before, that if you have confidence to speak up and speak your mind, not in a negative way. It doesn't have to be, a bossy, mean way like that, but just kind of confidence to live your life in the way that you feel is appropriate for you, and being able to step in and help others, using that confidence to help people who aren't quite there yet. It's a good thing. It's a good way to live. It's a happy way to live. So teaching leadership is something that I found was very empowering for little kids. They could learn to say no. They can learn to say, no, I'm not going to join in on picking on this kid. Or I'm not going to try this substance that's bad for my body. Or I'm not going to misbehave. They have that confidence that because I'm a leader, I can choose to do the wrong thing. There are bad leaders out there, or I can choose to do the right thing. And I have that power because I am a leader. And of course, my thing is to teach the kids, to use their powers for good, use their leadership powers for good. So it was a subject that I started easy 30 years ago, working with kids and teens on helping to empower them using leadership skills and teaching them leadership skills that they could then in turn use in their life. So to me, again, leadership is empowerment to live your life on your terms. Also, it is an empowerment and a confidence to help others and to intervene when you can make a difference for other people that need you. We're not alone out here. People have stepped in and led me in the right direction many times in my life. I've been able to step in and help others. But more importantly, I want to teach people, teach children, teach teens that skill, so when they are living their lives and going up into adulthood, they can make decisions that they feel confident with, that are things that they want to do, not follow the crowd, or just because everybody else lived their life this way, I should live my life this way. But it gives them that moment to say, I see this in the world and I'd like to do that about it. I might need to take a different direction than what the rest of the world's doing. So that is kind of my context a little bit on leadership and why I find it very important, because I so enjoy seeing people living their lives, being successful in whatever that means for them, because they are confident and can take charge. So I was talking about this with a group of folks, and one of the people in there said something that just shocked me, just blew me away. They said, I don't want my child to learn leadership because they'll use it against me and they won't do what I say. And I was like, wow. I have never thought of it that way before. So I had to stop and take a step back, and I started doing a little research on that and just kind of looking into, is that just that one person's opinion, or do other people have this opinion? And I found that it's not as teaching your kid to be a leader does not have the same positive connotation to every person in the world like it did for me, and there were many other parents of they've already got a strong-willed 7-year-old, and the last thing they want to do is to teach them how to stand up for themselves. I can see where that point of view would come from, and why they would think leadership would be something that's just going to make my child, even more strong-willed and more obstinate and more powerful to not do what I tell them to do. Well, I'd like to counter that thought by saying, if your child learns leadership skills, then they also learn when is the right time to use them and what's the difference between a leadership skill, which is positive, and the difference in being bratty, disobedient, disrespectful, wanting to get your own way. There's a big difference. And I think that parents, you want to make sure you've got to teach your children leadership, because the opposite of leadership is followership. And that is not what we want. Do we want them to listen to us and follow our directions? Yes. Teaching them leadership skills is not going to make them worse at that, at listening to you. It's going to make them better at that, because they're going to understand that they can learn from you. And by learning from you, they can become better leaders. And when they're better leaders, they're happier. When they're better leaders, they get more opportunity. They get more freedoms because they're showing responsibility. When they're just straight up strong-willed, disobedient, rude, bratty, they get less responsibility. They get less freedoms. They get more tension and more chaos in the house. And to be honest with you, the kids really don't want that. They don't really like that edgy feeling of, well, I'm miserable, so I'm going to make you miserable. They may think they do, but what they'd really rather have is exactly what you want, which is a happy and harmonious home. Less chaos, more freedom, more relaxation when you walk into the door. More responsibility is not a bad thing. More responsibility means that you can have more freedom and that you're on the right track. So teaching your children leadership is teaching them to be responsible. It's teaching them to be responsible with their actions and with their words and with their thoughts. So a leader would understand to stomp their foot and say, no, I'm not doing that, Mom. Or slam the door and just say, I hate you. A leader would understand that that is not appropriate behavior. A leader would understand that, I'm not getting what I want. Why? What are the steps I need to take to do that? Hey, Mom, I want this and you're not letting me, how come? And you can talk about it. Or understanding the consequences. They slam the door and say, I hate you. Well, there is no freedom that comes with that. There is no, you are not proud of them in that moment. You are not going to give them privileges, because they're not acting like a leader. That type of behavior is not leadership. That type of behavior is selfishness and brattiness and rude and disrespectful. So teaching a child to be a leader is not teaching them to be more strong-willed towards you. Teaching them to be a leader helps them see their responsibility. They're part of the team, the family team. You can't be a leader without people around you. You've got to be able to lead your team. And creating that family team and teaching your children leadership is what's going to help combat that strong-willed, put your foot down kind of attitude that maybe you've been experiencing. So to teach your child to stand strong and say no to something is also going to teach them how to stand strong and say yes to something. And that yes can be good behavior. That no can be bad behavior. All right. So again, I thought that was a very interesting take on it, but I was surprised how many people did think that same way. So I'd like to just take a second to talk about how do you teach leadership? Well, first of all, you have to define it. So you have to tell a child or a teen, what makes a leader? Tell me some leaders in your life. And let them come up with people who they look up to or who they think, well, this person must be a leader. One of the quick ones they say is a president. And I try to get them to think down a little bit closer to their life, like maybe a class president or maybe a president of the chess club or maybe a leader in their church or somebody, maybe a friend in their school who they think is a leader or a teacher at school, so getting them to think about who are the people if you had to call somebody a leader, who would you pick? So that's kind of defining that moment. And then you can talk about, are there leaders who are bad leaders, who do bad things? And getting them to see that just the word leadership doesn't always mean they're a good leader, And once they see, oh yeah, this person, they always get people together and, they're kind of the head bully. So they're using their leadership skills for bad. Or, well, this person is always so friendly and nice and they're always helping people and, they're using their powers for good. people go to them for advice, or people go to them to ask a question. All right. So that is one of the big things that you want to make sure you start off first, is to get, I don't know what's going on here. Sorry about that. We'll let that keep going for just a second. I think someone's trying to call in. Maybe you could just chat in. So the big thing about leadership is teaching them the definition of it, that you have good leaders, that you have bad leaders, and how to make sure that you get them heading in the right direction. And what does leadership look like? So that's the first thing, is have that defining, what does leadership look like? All right. Let's see, getting a message in here. All right. Okay. All right. So just defining that good leadership, bad leadership. All right. It's one of the things about going live. Never do really know what's going to happen. All right. So, so we have that. And then the other thing is, once they know what leadership is, explain to them how leadership looks for them. You know, what does a leader do? All right. What does a leader do? A leader leads people. A leader leads people. All right. Now that you've defined there's a bad leader and a good leader, okay, talk to them about what kind of leader they want to be. Really. You know, they may give you some flippant answers at first. They may give you the whole, you know, well, I want people to do what I tell them to do. You know, I want to be the boss. Quite honestly, very quickly here, being the boss does not make you the leader. It makes you the boss. You can be the boss, and somebody under you can be the leader. All right. That is very, very true. So help them understand that. Getting people to do what you want them to do, to tell them what to do, make them do what you want them to do. That's not in the leadership. That's the boss. And parents, you might be the boss of your household, but the child might be the leader. And we do want to flip that. All right. Well, not flip it. We want to correct that. You need to be the leader. And in being the leader, you teach your child how to be a leader. All right. You teach them that being the boss is not leadership. Being the boss is, especially for a child, okay, being the boss is selfish. Nobody wants to be told what to do. Nobody wants you to pick the game every time. Nobody, you know, if everybody has to do what you want to do all the time, you're not going to have a whole lot of friends. So leadership is about, hey guys, what do we all want to do today? What do we all want to play today? All right, we've got these choices. Let's pick one. Let's vote. Okay. Or since it's nice outside, let's play outside today. And then tomorrow we'll come in and do video games because it's raining. A leader helps people make decisions. They don't just boss everybody around and tell them what to do. And I think that that's where sometimes parents think, oh, my kids will learn a leadership skill, because maybe they've had that sense of a boss is telling them what to do and that sort of thing. All right. So remember the difference between, there's bad leaders, there's good leaders, there's bosses, bossy people. Bosses and bossy people are not leaders. Okay. Leaders help people get along. Leaders help people see things around them, not just that I want this, you follow me. Leaders have confidence to make good choices. That's why you want your child to have leadership skills. I mean, would you rather have your child be the one that does what everybody else is doing? Because either they don't have confidence, or they think it'll make people like them, or they don't want to rock the boat, or they don't know what to do, they don't know what they want? Or would you rather your child be the person that the other kids go to? Hey, we want to play a game. You want to get us started? Hey, somebody was being mean to me. Can you help me out? I don't understand this schoolwork, this question. Do you have the answer, or can you help me figure out the answer? Or, hey, I really want to try out for this team, or I want to be a part of this play, but I'm afraid to do it by myself. Can you go with me? That's the kid you want your kid to be. The one that the other kids look up to for positive reasons. Well, if Sandy comes with me, then I'll have the confidence I need to try out for the softball team. And then Sandy can help your child get the confidence they need to do it on themselves by themselves the next time. So I don't want to counter that. I don't want to teach my child leadership because it's going to make them a worse kid. Teaching your child leadership is going to make them a more compassionate, confident, happy, bold and courageous in a positive way. It's going to keep them from being a follower. Teaching your child leadership is going to keep them from following the crowd. And, following the crowd can be a very dangerous thing. At 7 years old, it may not be that dangerous, but at 17, it can be extremely dangerous. And if you think that there's this thing that they outgrow, or they'll magically turn into leaders when they turn 16 and get a car, well, I can guarantee you that is not going to happen. They have to begin learning it at the very, very beginning of their life. I have this philosophy as a parent, as a mentor, as a teacher of leadership, as a martial arts instructor, that it's my responsibility for those, not for the world, okay, not for every person, but for the people who come to me, or the people who are in my circle of influence. Some of that is family, some of that is friends, some of it is students, some of it is parents who are asking for help. But the people in my circle of influence, my responsibility is to help them become a more independent, happy, and confident person. That's the way I look at my job. And the reason that I want that for them, more independence, more confidence, more happiness, true happiness, is so that they can get out of life everything they want, and they can give to life everything it needs. And by that, I mean the people around them, the community around them. When we are elevated in our best self, and we are doing the things we want to do, and we are living the life we want to live, then we are so much more able to give. And don't you want that for your kid? Don't you want them to be able to do everything that they dream of and be in a place where they can give more than they receive? That's leadership. That's leadership. Learning to lead yourself, lead others, and then share. Whether it's knowledge, money, time, friendship. When you're in a good place, you can help others be in a good place. That is leadership. And because I find so much joy when a student goes off to live their dream, whether it's college or join the military or stay-at-home parent, whatever it is they want to do. And I know that I had this little part of teaching them that they can, because if you believe you can, you can find a way, and you're a leader. And if you really care, you're going to find a way. All right. And then maybe you can lead others to kind of help you get that job done. That's what I want to be a part of. And that's what I really feel proud of, that I can continue to do and hope to do. And I can tell you right now, when I am not my best self, I am not leading. At least I try not to. If I am, unhappy for some reason, or, just kind of lost or disorganized or messed up, I really try not to get out there and help others. If they see that, I do want to be vulnerable and let people know I do have those same problems everybody else does, frustrations, lack of confidence, negative attitude. But I don't want to be leading people during that time. I don't want to lead them into the, misery loves company type of thing. So finding that, being able to bring yourself to a good place and being able to share that with others, that's what we want for our kids. And that's why we want to teach them leadership. That's the biggest thing, is teaching our kids to be not independent against us, but independent because of us, independent even for us. My kids are at the age where I rely on them quite a bit for many different things. And, if I hadn't taught them how to sustain themselves and be their own boss, be their own person, then I might still be taking care of them, carrying their burdens. And of course, I'm part of their lives and I'm part of their burdens, but I also know and I have complete confidence that when something comes along, they're going to figure it out. They're going to make the right choice. And I know this because I taught them that in the very beginning, and sometimes you let them make their choice so they learn the lesson. Well, you can do this and this might happen, or you can do that and that might happen, even though you want to say, no, do this. And they make the wrong choice and they learn from it. And because they have leadership skills, they correct it. So to parents out there who are concerned that teaching leadership to your child is going to make them meaner to you, bossier to you, please delve into that a little bit more and understand the difference between a strong-willed, bad attitude and a leadership, responsible attitude. All right, so just to give you some encouragement that way. Because if you just think that, well, I'm going to have to be the dictator because they behave bad all the time, what happens when we kind of compress that all the time? We've always got our thumb on them, telling them what to do, what to not do, because they just don't behave. So we're just going to push. They're going to explode. They're going to act out. It won't get better. It will get worse. So if we teach them responsibility and leadership and how to properly use their strong will for good, I don't think there's anything wrong with being strong-willed. I think there's a very positive direction and outlet that people who have a strong will can put that into a good leadership practice and make huge differences in their community and in the world. It's when we try to suppress that strong will so much by saying, you're bad, that we run into problems. Because they can only handle that for so long. And either they're going to fight back and cause you all kinds of problems, or they're going to completely lose their self-esteem and follow the wrong crowd. So just think about that. Be careful about that. Got lots of examples, lots of experience in that particular situation with strong-willed, teaching your kids leadership, why you need to teach them leadership. So feel free to reach out, put comments there, ask questions. I'm happy to answer them. And I appreciate you listening. And as always, my hope for you is to have a happy and harmonious home. Enjoy your parenting. Enjoy the process of being part of creating an independent and confident individual who then goes out into the world and makes a positive difference, who lives their dreams. That's what I hope for you. All right. Thank you guys. Ask Master Mom, Amanda Olson.